Author Showcase. I'm Tom Cannon along with Dixie Jarko. And today we're speaking with author Deborah Martin. Welcome.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thanks for being here with us.
Let's start with your book. This is your book right here.
Yes, Daycare Advice from Haley. She's currently 7.5 years old and going into 2nd grade, but when I wrote this book, she was 5.
So what's it about?
I started a journal for Haley when I first found out I was going to be a grandmother for the first time, and I was so excited about it. And I would write in it periodically whenever I'd see her, and I started noticing that those little kids have some pretty good wisdom in them.
Absolutely.
And when I moved to Oshkosh a couple years ago to be closer and to be more helpful with getting her to school and different things, I thought, why not write a book and put some of these ideas on paper? I thought all my life that someday I might write a book, didn't think it would ever be a children's book, but just found that it intriguing to put down some of her thoughts from her perspective. She started in daycare when she was 6 months old, and so she had a lot of wisdom about what might be helpful to kids.
Okay. What were some of the things that she came up with that would be different from what like a parent would tell a kid?
Yeah, well, one of my favorite quotes of her in there, she says, if you're sad or scared when your parent leaves you, just know that they'll always be in your heart.
Ooh.
Another thing they did at the daycare she went to, which was here in Oshkosh, was if you were really sad when your parent, or me, when I was the grandma leaving her, you could stand on a chair by a window and wave, and then as the car was driving away, I could wave back at her. So we have a picture in the book of that, of how to say goodbye and know that they will be back for you. There's also an article or some pages in there where she talks about no spitting, hitting, or kicking.
No biting?
And there's a timeout chair if there's consequences for that bad behavior, and maybe you can't go outside and play, and you definitely want to do that.
Yeah. I know we had biting issues when kids were in daycare. There's the biter kid, you know.
Yes. Well, and at points she was the biter kid.
Yeah, I think everybody takes a turn.
She had her rough patches at times too, and she'd be sad, and she can be a little finicky in her eating. So another thing she puts in the book is that you need to eat all the food on your plate. If you take it, you should eat it. But they do allow you can bring your own food. If you can bring a lunch yourself if you don't want to eat what they have there.
So she's got everything a young child would need before they go to daycare.
Advice from somebody who's been there.
Yeah, from the trenches.
Well, and she also has encouragement there related to there's lots of games to play. There'll be fun activities outside.
A lot of science and art, I saw.
Yes, you're going to learn a lot of fun things, and you'll make friends.
So overall, her experience was positive?
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. How did this get published?
I did self-publish it.
Okay.
I, first-time author, hadn't done something like that before, and thought, well, hopefully it sells. People will like it. I think there's good advice from her in it. But if not, I just wanted to do it myself, and I was still working at the time, and thought, I'll fund it myself. We'll see where it goes.
So tell us about that journey. What do you do with self-publishing for our authors who maybe would like to try that?
Yeah. How did you go? You were writing in a journal, and then you decided this would make a pretty neat book.
Yeah. That was interesting, too, because I've been reading children's books to her since she was tiny. So that was part of my research. I came to the library here in Oshkosh and was looking at children's books. What are the pictures going to look like? What kind of... what size of book should it be? And it was very helpful.
So there was a lot of research you did.
Yeah, and the librarian here were very helpful to me as well. Once I told her about what I was doing, she said, well, there's a Lake Flies writers group here in Oshkosh. I said, no, I didn't. And it was right before a conference 2 years ago. And I went, and it was great. I enjoyed it so much.
We had some children's writers there.
Yeah, and learned about getting on, not only being on the internet, but then also expanding and being on Twitter, because it's a good research spot. Never thought about that. So there was a lot of practical information besides just being around people, and no idea there were so many authors in Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very fun.
A lot of published people, too.
Yes, yes, and I brought my book before it was published to the writers group here
Uh-huh.
in Oshkosh and got some advice about order of some things, like
Mhm.
how to have a decent flow.
Yeah.
That I did have someone drawing pictures, doing the illustrations, because
Mhm.
most children's books are illustrated. That didn't go well for me.
Okay.
Because it was a family member,
Oh, okay.
not a close family member, but
Mhm.
a family member, and she had illustrated a children's book before, but she said to me, "I'll do the illustrations and then show them to you." Warning! Don't ever do that. See the first illustration and see if
Before they
they're
spend a lot
on,
of
they're
Oh,
on
time.
track with you, right? I looked at the child and it was too old.
Yeah.
I mean, these were
Oh.
little 2 to 4 to 5-year-olds, and this
Uh-huh.
child looked more like a grade school age. It was lovely illustrations, but it just didn't fit with the age group that I was
And if
targeting.
you're having a children's book, I mean, it has to be visually pleasing, pleasant
Absolutely,
colors, glossy,
yeah.
shiny paper. You have to be very careful about that.
So I took a risk and decided that I love to take pictures, and of course I had thousands of pictures of this
Grandma.
only grandchild, and I did photos. I did see in the library there aren't that many photo books, but I decided to do this, and I went to the daycare, and they allowed me in, and we have permission from all of the children who are in the book, permission from their parents to use their pictures. For instance, there's a fact in there. The first time we were out somewhere, and Haley said, "I'd like a bubbler."
Oh, yeah.
Bubbler. My daughter, we're from Illinois. We never heard that term. So we found out that had to do with drinking fountains. So there's a page in there to just tell children who are from out of state, if the word bubbler comes up, that's what it's about.
I am also from Illinois, and yes, I have never heard bubbler.
It's good to let children know that you use
You
the word
want to fit
bubbler.
in, yeah.
Don't use it in Illinois. They won't know what you're talking about.
And so it was fun in that way too, to just throw in some humor and how much she loved to play games like Duck Duck Goose. I think children will relate to the ideas of whether it's this daycare center or really mostly any daycare center. The teachers are wonderful, that they will have a good time, and that their parent will come back. I think that's kind of some of the scariness to new daycare kids, or even after they've been there for a while, they'll have their sad days. But
So tell me a little bit about marketing your book. How do you
Yes.
do that? And
the self-publishing. Sorry, I got off on it.
Well,
No.
you got the pictures.
Yes. So I had the pictures, I had the writing, and I had taken my snippets and put them on a Word document, and then tried to figure out what words went for what pictures. Had to take a few additional pictures to try
Yeah.
to match some things up. And I thought, now what do I do? Again, this was before I even knew about the Lakefly writers, or I really didn't know authors to talk to at the time. So I went online and I looked at Amazon and a couple sites, but I've been involved with a group, Mike Dooley. He has, it's called Thoughts Become Things, Choose the Good Ones. And he writes, and there's lots of YouTube videos about infinite possibilities, and
Okay.
for maybe 15 years or so. Well, he's associated with Lulu Publishing. So it was kind of like, go here, go here, go here. I ended up at Lulu Publishing.
Okay, so tell us about that. How does that work?
So I put online that I was interested in speaking to someone, so someone responded to me right away, and I really liked the person that I dealt with on the phone. Never met her, she's from
Yeah.
a different place, but she gave me an idea of what the cost would be, what the time frame would be, and it walked me through the process. I knew I could self-publish myself, but it just didn't.
Oh, so they kind of help you through the process.
Yeah, so I could have self-published alone there, but instead I paid a little bit more money and had them do some of those actual steps of it. Maybe I'll have them again, and maybe I'll do it myself. But for this first time, it was helpful to me. So they said, you submit the words on a Word document, and you match up, and then the illustrations come separately. They have to be JPEG,
Right.
but you have to tell them which words, which page, so
Yeah.
everything will match up as they're working it. 'Cause
Was there a
they're
certain number
separate.
of pages you had to have?
For this size of book, it had to be 36 pages.
Okay.
Was there, or you could pay more
Yeah.
for it. But I thought, well, they must have a reason that they've come to that number, so that was where I wanted to stay in my time frame of it. So
It's how they cut the paper is how they
Sure.
decided.
Sure. So that worked out pretty good. I put things in the best order I could figure out, and
Did you run it by Haley at any point?
Yes, and in fact, on my website, I do have Haley reading the book. And it will
how
tell you
cool.
in the back of the book that you can go to the website and hear her actually reading the book.
Nice.
Which is pretty fun. Yeah, I had her approval to do it. And I also have, she's autographed some of the books
Oh,
as well with her, just Haley.
Mhm.
That we're being protective of her in that way.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was pretty excited about it. She gets a little shy, but seemed to like the idea of having her own book. She's taken it to daycare and read it there.
Oh,
She's
nice.
taken it
Oh,
to
wow.
school.
Little author visit, yeah.
Yeah, an author visit even at school, taken the book in and read it to students there. So she said yes, and Lulu had the information. It took at least a couple months, maybe even 3,
Oh,
to
really?
get the first round back. Now,
Mhm.
remember, I'm not a published author. It wasn't that expensive to have this done, so I understood. And they had told me ahead of time the time frame, and they pretty much stuck to what they said. When they sent it to me, the rough draft, I looked at it. There were some things I saw. Oh, I had in my picture, some of them had the date on them. I
Oh.
went, no. So I had
Yeah.
to figure out how to get those dates scrubbed off of the picture. So it's good to have someone proofread and
Oh, yeah.
right.
proofread yourself. I hadn't thought of that in my photo albums. That doesn't really matter. So got that taken care of. They gave me a couple suggestions on grammar and a couple pages. I actually did give it to someone at the school to take a look at too, as far as level of reading and that kind
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing. For just
Mhm.
again, not an author themselves, but still they know tons
They
of
Teachers
Right.
know, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a fun process. Sent it back because you get one time free. It was included in the cost of the book. Now, if later I had more corrections, then there would be additional charge. Seems reasonable. They're going to
Yeah,
do some
right.
additional work. And then they sent me the first book, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
Got it on my Facebook page right away. Here's the first copy of our book. Then I ordered my own copies to have to sell myself. I have it. It is now on. You can buy it through Lulu Publishing, but you can get to from my website or just go to Lulu and search the book.
And
you
your
can get it
web-
on Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and your website, which is just Deborah.
Deborah and Martin, writing, with the W in writing, .com. And Deborah is DeborAH. I have a little different spelling of that. So DeborahAnnMartinWriting.com.
What else might we find on your website?
One of the things I like to do is public speaking. I've been doing that for quite a few years, and so if there's a nonprofit or another organization that's looking for someone to speak, I love to go do that. I've been an industrial engineer as my career, worked in manufacturing sites, mainly in the food industry, some in automotive, so I have a background and love to speak about those kind of issues. I think as a woman in non-traditional work, much of my career, I have a view on that,
Oh, yeah.
that I really want to be empowering young girls and women to know really you can do whatever you're interested in and what you think you might want to do. My granddaughter right now, Haley, says she's going to be a scientist. I say, go for it. Good, yes.
Yes.
How to keep that kind of encouragement to young people, and not excluding boys either. That they are empowered to be their best self. What are they having fun with, and learn more about that. Encourage that.
So, marketing. Let's go back to marketing. So, you've got the book. It's up on all these sites. Do you do anything to support it? What happens
Yes.
from there?
That is, as I said, I'm an engineer for background. Marketing, I do have an associate degree in marketing from MATC in Madison,
Nice.
but I never worked in that field, so marketing was not my strength. Now, Lulu would, for a price, have marketed it. I wasn't willing to spend that additional cost at this time.
Because at this point, you're just thinking of it as a family book, right? You
Exactly.
haven't- Yeah.
So I took it to the daycare. It said, they had copies and a sign if
Nice.
they'd like to buy
Oh.
books for the parents
That
and
works.
grandparents that come there. I offered it to other daycares in our area, sent them notices about it, and at one of them I took some copies and said, if your parents would like to buy it directly from you, then you don't have shipping and some of those other expenses right there. I then got life in the way, pretty busy, and really have not marketed like I would like to. I think there is an appeal for it.
Definitely.
I will be looking to the writers group to get some information from them and some ideas.
You
of
can
how to
definitely
better
get help
market
on building a platform
Yeah.
through any writers group that can involve your Twitter, your Facebook, author visits, speaking at conventions is a very popular way to get your book out there.
it. Yeah.
Anything else I'm missing? We have a YouTube channel that
Right.
will put this and other
And even
Excellent.
even just
interviews up
our,
on.
and
So I can
even-
put a link on my website to
Either
to
that
get
or
to-
we'll give you a copy of it.
and our mission here on the Author Showcase is to promote local authors and just get the word out. And one of our messages is, you know, if you buy this book, if you've gotten the book, please review it on Amazon
Absolutely.
and other sites. It's very important. The rankings influence Amazon. You know, if you get 10 or more reviews,
Yep.
then they start promoting it more. So
Sure.
your,
Yep.
you know,
So
what
if
you
you
think
like
about
an
the book
author,
is very important to that author.
And then if you hit 50, it's another milestone, and 100 is another, is what I've been told, so.
One of the other things I'm doing locally, my website, I thought it needs a little boost. I had created it a year or so ago for this book.
Mhm.
So I've contacted there's a business success at UW Oshkosh.
Okay.
And now I'm going to be working with a student in the IT. He's in IT is his focus. He's
Oh,
going to be
nice.
helping me boost up my website.
Now, how did you
So
get in
pretty
contact with
excited.
them? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, well, I attend, there's a networking group in Oshkosh that it's called Thrive, THRIVE,
Mm-hmm.
for anyone.
Mm.
And they have coffee 2 times a month at various coffee shops.
Oh,
around.
nice.
Like, could
My
be Planet
kind of group.
Kirk, it could be,
You're
yeah.
just there for the coffee.
I am.
So honestly, I don't remember who invited me to begin
Mm-hmm.
with, but I've been going for months now, and it is so fun, and it's growing. There's even more people there. You can come, or
Yeah.
you don't have to come. It's open.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the women there was from UWO and knew about this Business Success Center.
Okay.
Their office is located in the UW Alumni Building.
Oh, okay.
So it was been easy for me
Very nice, yeah.
to work with them. And at first I delayed, do I want to do this or not? And so I've made the commitment now. I met with the young man, and he's
Mhm.
going to be.
Because there's a
be
lot of
helping
things.
me.
So tell us about some of the things you can do. You can
Yeah.
put your SEO. You can have the words that people will search. What
Oh,
else, Tom?
those are
Help
very
me out here.
important.
When
Well, just-
people search for different words, your website will come up if you have those
Right.
words in the
Yeah.
background of
But
your website. I
I
know I'm
probably
not saying
haven't
it
done
right.
that well. I need help with
Well,
that.
we
kind
all
of
need
thing,
help
yeah.
with that in terms of tech
well,
experts.
But yes, I don't know that much about, you know, I mean, purchase a website, I mean, hopefully they'll do a good job for you, but it's just getting the word out and getting a platform and, you know, finding social media that you like, you know, that works for you.
And having buttons and linking it to your blog or I mean, there's like a ton of stuff you can do. It's like a whole nother career.
Right.
Yes, it is,
Well, exactly.
absolutely.
That's what it's kind of becoming for me. I've written a few blogs, but yet I know I have to read other people's blogs,
Yep.
like them. There's a whole network of that
There is.
that I'm learning
Right.
about. It's pretty exciting and fun to be learning.
And those keywords, you know, to post on your blog are very important, and to make sure and tweet it
Yep.
out. And this year at the Lake Fly, we've heard a speaker talking about the importance of LinkedIn,
Yep.
especially if you're going to be a speaker. You're looking for places to go and talk to people.
And I heard actually Trump looks at LinkedIn for some of his cabinet. I'm not sure if that's true, but
But I do like
gonna
the
edit that part
idea.
out, right?
Yeah, I got
out
nothing.
of my mouth, out of my
I got
And we're
nothing
gonna-
to add there.
We're gonna, and so then
But
he
we need
looks
to
for
have a
what?
pause now.
Talent and professional and knowledgeable, and then he finds the opposite of that.
all right, we gotta leave a pause here.
Wall Street. I do LinkedIn. I think is just a hidden gem, and
Really?
I've used it in when I was still working in my business career, so I do have a lot of linkages. But to use that as a part of the writing, that is new and interesting to me.
Yes.
And I think there is a very big place for
Because
that.
I'm on it, but I don't have a lot of links. I don't know. It's like Facebook. I don't want a lot of links because it's almost
Oh.
like a personal email almost with my family.
Mm,
So I don't know. I guess using it as a tool is a whole different.
right,
Well,
and you can
because
post on there just like social media now, and that seems to be
Yeah.
very important.
Well, I think because being an author or writing a book, now that is in a way a business.
Yes.
To me, too. For me, Facebook in many ways is family, friends,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But LinkedIn is business, and so it makes
Mhm.
sense that if you're looking for books or genres of books, or because I do know
Or speakers.
a lot of people on there, so to share what I'm doing or to find out what they're doing. And I don't have many author links on LinkedIn, so you just gave me a great idea.
No, I'm going to go
That's
do that after this. I'll link you.
Excellent.
And yeah, other ideas. I mean, I think Goodreads. You can actually advertise on
I'm
Goodreads.
There's an author group on Goodreads that only published
And
authors
you-
can be in.
I've given
Nice.
some book giveaways.
Yeah,
I mean, that's, and you're asking reviews. You're not.
I'm thinking of
You're
that,
hoping
the
for
book
reviews.
giveaway. Yeah. It just came to my mind recently that I wanted to do.
So what's up next for you, writing-wise?
Right now I'm in the process of writing a book, not a children's book, though I do have in mind to do Haley's Advice to Kindergarten as a
Nice.
follow-up to this
That would
book.
be great.
And I actually helped in kindergarten one morning a week while she was in kindergarten, so I feel like I got to know it a little bit
Yeah.
better. And those kids are doing what I think first graders used to do.
Exactly.
Oh,
every day.
absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
And they're supposed to come in knowing,
Oh,
we got a
yeah.
list, you gotta tie your shoe, you gotta know your ABCs, you gotta, I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
I thought they were just playing.
Yeah, and one of the things Haley would do is help some kids tie their shoes
Yep.
because she had learned that in daycare. So
We
when
were at the
kids
time with the
struggling-
Velcro shoes, so nobody had tie shoes. We were like practicing on tin cans and stuff.
But the other thing I'm writing is it's called Advice to My 18-Year-Old Self. That's my title of the book
Oh,
right now.
Nice.
Again, because I feel getting a little older in age, there's a lot of bits of wisdom I have gained over the years that I'd like to share out for young women. I thought if I'd have known some of this when I was 18 or 19, I thought I knew a lot, and I did, but I knew book knowledge or school knowledge. I didn't really know about the ways of the world. And one of the pieces of knowledge is being too hard on yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Like the negative self-talk I had and like, oh, that's stupid and dumb, and in more that we really are powerful inside of ourselves and follow those instincts. Don't hide them down. So, and just it's stories then, short
Right.
stories of things that have happened to me in the years that I think could be beneficial to people.
Good. Now you have something else going on you wanted to talk about.
I do a couple other things. One is in Oshkosh, I'm wanting to start a Toastmasters club. So no matter when you hear about this, whether it's right away this year or in the future, be looking for Toastmasters in Oshkosh.
And what do they do?
Toastmasters is a international speaking group. So no matter what your level of speaking, if you want to improve it, this is a good place to go. And it's really there's clubs. Like I said, it's international. You meet twice a month usually. Not all clubs. Could be during the day, could be on an evening. There's Oshkosh Corporation started a Toastmasters group last year, and I've been the mentor for that group.
Nice.
But that's what we call a closed group. It's for people that work at that location. This would be a community club. We've already have the approval at UW Oshkosh to have the club there, but we'd like to link it with community people as well for just the strength of the club and for the ongoing of the club.
Is there an age restriction on this?
There is not. I'd say there's a bottom age limit.
Right. Yeah.
More about 18,
18,
is
okay.
good to get into it. Finishing high school into this group. We do have trainings for younger people that a club can take on to go into a school or a group somewhere and do some speaking. The difference of it is I've been to many speech club trainings over the years, but that's a one-time workshop or maybe 2 or 3. Whereas Toastmasters is ongoing. Really, you learn stuff by doing it, right? You learn to
Right.
write by writing. You learn to speak by speaking. And you're with people who want you to do better. Everybody's encouraging you. So maybe you have a speech for work and you're nervous about giving it. Give it a Toastmasters. Get some practice in. Get some feedback. And you'll
that's
be
so
stronger.
true. There's not a job I've been in my varied career where you haven't had to get up and give a presentation of some kind.
Exactly. And we also have something called table topics. And that's where one person comes to the meeting and has ideas for that. It's extemporaneous speaking, which is really what most of us do all day long,
Yeah.
whether we're at work or anywhere. Somebody throws out a topic and you need to think on your feet. And we time everything. So table topic is around 2 minutes. And they'll throw out something.
That sounds kind of fun.
Right.
Terrifying,
and you
but
speak.
fun.
Yes. And it's really good practice. So later on, you'll get caught in the hall with your boss, or somebody will walk by and ask you about a project, and you know you can do it.
Yeah.
You have more confidence. You probably could all the
Right.
They
time.
always talk
but
about
you
being
gotta-
caught in an elevator with a publisher,
Yes.
and you've got, 30 seconds or 50 seconds to make your point. Hey, I've got a book,
I've had that
Be
happen.
awesome for that. I have too. I had it with an agent. And I said, I've got to do this elevator pitch. She's like, don't do it. I'm like, I've got to. I'm in an elevator with an agent. And I gave him a pitch. But.
Yeah. So Toastmasters doesn't tell you what to talk about, but whatever you want to talk about, it'll help you.
Gives
So,
you
Awesome.
critiques and hints and advice.
Yeah.
And just the practice of it.
Oh, we could all use
And
that.
leadership skills as well. There's
Mhm.
officers of the club, and right now I'm what's called an area director, which means I have 6 clubs. There's several in Appleton, and I have the Oshkosh Club that I help. So if an officers in the club say, "What about this?" or "What have you thought of that?" I'm the person they'll call, and I'll help. And we rotate those kinds of
Sure.
positions.
And so if somebody's interested in this and maybe helping you organize it or just want to know more information, where would they go for that information?
The best thing would be to Google Toastmasters. There's Toastmasters International, and you put in your zip code and it will get you to clubs in your area.
Oh, nice.
The other way is, all of Wisconsin is one district of Toastmasters, and we're District 35. So if you go to the web and put D35 Toastmasters, you would get to Wisconsin, but again, then you would want to put in your zip code to get to Oshkosh and the surrounding areas.
That sounds like a great place to make contacts too if you want to start speaking.
It's great for networking.
Yeah.
And just professional networking, and you're hanging around people that want to improve themselves.
Absolutely.
And that is always a benefit in
Yeah.
life in general. So I've been in Toastmasters 12 years, and when I moved up here, I thought, great way to meet people, and it's
Absolutely.
truly been that way.
And I don't think if you're an author, there's any way you can get out of public speaking.
No.
You have
Absolutely
to
not.
get up in front of people and you have to interact and talk and
Yeah.
sell your book.
The other avenue that come to my awareness since I've been in Oshkosh the last couple years is about the scourge of human sex trafficking. And the corridor of Highway 41 between Milwaukee and Green Bay is notorious for this
Really?
happening.
Okay.
And events like EAA, Packer games, the events themselves aren't bad. They have nothing related to this scourge.
But they bring an influx
But they
of
bring
people.
in a lot of visitors. So all of the music festivals and so on, it increases, though it's going on at all times. So we have an event going on this year in November, which someone could find for human trafficking awareness. So just so the community can know about it, and that we can teach and train our children of what to watch out for, because the internet has made it way worse than it used to be. We're also planning to do an event on UWO campus too, to empower our college students. But I believe this is a one-time event we have planned. We're highlighting organizations in Oshkosh right now that work on this, such as Damascus Road, Voices for Men, Five Stones, which is in Appleton, and Christine Ann Center. These are places that do all they can to help with problems, people that have been abused, and to stop it from happening to people. But I think even if you're watching this at a later date, you're gonna
It's not going to go away.
Right.
look up one of those groups, see what else is going on in Oshkosh, because I want our city to be a city that protects our children, and go
think it's
somewhere else. If we can't stop it all, we can stop it here in Oshkosh.
At least just get the word out that I think there's a lot of churches have presentations on this, just to get the word out, to know that it's there, to know,
What we
to
can
keep
do.
people safe.
Yeah,
Well, even
we're-
schools. I work in a school, and I haven't really heard much on the
No.
topic. And I'm sure it's
Well,
impacting our community.
Teachers are really front force to see how children change. I heard a woman speak in Green Bay last year. This is where I really got an education about it. And she'd been trafficked as a child. She's an adult now and had written a book. And she said her teachers never asked her what was happening. Her grades dropped. They could tell she was being bullied at school. We have the Oshkosh Police Department will be at our presentation too. They are, I'm hopeful because they do understand it isn't just about bad women. That in
Right.
fact we need to do something to empower men to understand that these are children. This is first of all a crime because when it is children, and secondly it's not right that it is trafficking, that it is against people's will in many cases. So,
Right, and you talked earlier about the negative self-talk and how that can limit. Now, think if you're in a desperate situation and then somebody is over you and you feel unempowered, I mean, they can really, control and use you.
Yeah, it's very much about control, and it's very insidious. So the idea is, if you're empowered and you see something, call 911. The police are prepared to take care of
Or
things.
tell an adult.
Yeah, children should tell an adult. You never want to interfere yourself, because you could be in danger, and that person could also be in danger because somebody's watching. So instead, work with the professionals, work with the organizations that we have, and it's wonderful that they exist, but they need our support financially, and they need our eyes, because the police force is limited. So whatever we can do to...
And so this event is going to be coming up in November 2017.
Yes.
Do you know what it's going to be called? What can people look for?
Yes, so you can find it on Eventbrite at 11/11/17, and you just start typing in the word human, and it will come up. It's at All Saints Lutheran Church here in Oshkosh, and it's for the whole community and people outside the community, anyone who would like to be empowered to know more. We have a Facebook page, and it's called End Human Sex Trafficking Oshkosh. So you'd be able to find us on Facebook as well, and there's a link then. This is a free event. The only reason we're asking people to let us know is so we have enough handouts of all the information. And the groups will be there, they'll have tabling. One of my visions for it is that other events come from it. So someone comes and said, oh, I'd like my women's group to hear this, or oh, I'd like our church to hear this, or oh, we have a teen group meeting, and here's what we'd like to share with them. It isn't.
So it'll be an ongoing effort.
Right,
So
and
if
it's
you
kind
miss
of
the
a-
November event, there'll be other things coming up. Check the Facebook page.
And I think it's kind of not a new phenomenon, but we know, now we're really starting
learning about it.
learning about it, getting exposed, so let people know that it's out there and just get the word out.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Deborah Ann Martin, for being with us. What a wide variety of topics we've covered today. Her book can be found on Amazon, Barnes & Noble,
Or my own website.
or her own website, which is.
Deborah Ann Martin, writing.com.
Thank you so
Thank
much for
you.
being with us today.
Thank you. It's been lovely.
Thank you for watching. If you'd like to be on Author Showcase, please contact us on our Facebook page or at Oshkosh Author Showcase at gmail.com. Otherwise, continue the conversation with Dixie and Tom via social media. Look for Dixie by searching for Daisy Jericho, and please check out her books, The Love Thief and Sparks Fly, on Amazon. You can find Tom Cannon on many types of social media, and please check out his book on Amazon, The Tower of Apathy. Our goal is to introduce local authors around Oshkosh and hear their stories. We want to thank the Oshkosh Public Library and the Friends of Oshkosh Public Library for supporting the creation of this show. If you are a writer and are looking for a community, we suggest the Oshkosh Area Writers Club and the Lakefly Writers Conference held each May.